All right, boys, let's do it live here on another off-season edition of the Back Porch. We got the full crew in here today. A little quick talk. We're going to do some golf talk, some soccer talk. So we got our soccer guys in here, but mainly want to focus on the Fab Four draft, gentlemen. What's going on today?
Yo, episode 26. What's up?
What's going on, boys?
What up?
Wow, so not a lot of energy coming from the Ryan camp today.
I'm locked in. I've got the draft that is going to blow all of your minds today.
Ryan is definitely locked in, ready to go. So we're going to go Fab Four of what could have been players in sports. So
Let's
guys,
do that later on. What
do you mean do it later on?
Let's go. Let's get the soccer talk out of the way. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
You make it sound like this is like a chore for you, when this is honestly going to be the backbone of this company in a few years. Just you wait.
If that's the case, then count me out.
We'll convert you.
I don't think so, but if Messi does what he's supposed to do, then yeah. If Messi does what he's supposed to do, then yeah, this will be obviously just a Messi talk show.
All right. So we're going to determine an order of this draft, which is probably going to be some of the most electric content going on here. I have a number generator between 1 and 100. Closest to the number will determine the order. Ryan, first up, what's your guess?
69.
69. All right, Nate.
00.
00. All right. Jake, 1 through 100.
13.
13. Okay, and then I'll go with 42. Shout out Jackie Robinson. All right, here we go.
You can't use that number. Retired.
It's
retired for everything. It's not even a real number anymore.
Not today. All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Generated. The number is 34. Dang. So I get it to determine order. I can show you.
You're telling me the guy who randomly selected these got the number 1 draft pick?
Well, no. I didn't get the draft pick. I get to determine the order now.
Oh.
So, since it's gonna snake, I don't want the number 1 pick. I want the number 3 pick. So let's go Nate 1, Jake 2. I'll go 3, Ryan 4. All right. Nate, you're 1.
Before we get into the draft, thank you. I'm 1-1. Before we get into the draft, though, we kind of jumped in. Let's explain to the listening audience, because they're not watching this, what we're actually doing right now.
Okay, so we're going to do a Fab Four 4-round snake draft of athletes that could have been. So guys that either got hurt, had troubles with the law, decided to retire early, any type of athlete that had some type of mishap in their career. It could have been just being drafted to the wrong team. But like the what could have been scenario for these athletes. So Nate is leading us off. Let's see. He said Nate came in with a list of just 4, he says. So this better be a good 4, Nate.
All right. So what could have been, right? So they could have, as in they could have been Hall of Famers, or they could have been champions.
Yep.
So it's just we're doing a big broad one right now, to just to kick it off during the dog days of summer, right?
Let's do it.
What I'm understanding.
Yes.
All right. I wish I had my soundboard, because I could put I'm on the clock. Roger Goodell. But what I'm going to do is, it's not going to be a guy who got injured. It's not going to be a guy who had any legal troubles or anything like that. Just a really good professional, still a good professional. I feel like if he went to the right team, drafted, and also played in a different era, he would be probably the best fantasy football player ever to be fantasy, and on top of that, one of the best running back utility guys to play the game. And my number one pick is Reggie
Bush.
All right.
Bush. I feel like Reggie Bush got drafted to a team, they utilized him, but they didn't. But if he played in today's offense, with that dynamicness that he had, he'd be so electric.
Yeah, Reggie Bush is
remember, he
definitely
shared a
ahead of
back.
his time.
He was definitely ahead of his time. If you go watch, just watching USC film back in the early 2000s when he was there, it was like this guy was doing so many crazy things on the field, and then like Sean Payton and them, they used him the best they could, but the offenses weren't like they are today.
Yeah.
So like if you imagine like Reggie Bush, and like Mike McDaniel's offense right now.
Yeah, he's like, literally Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's Christian McCaffrey.
But so probably like a little bit more
Reggie
gifted
Bush.
talent.
Yeah, more gifted talent. He did great for his career, but he was kind of tied up in New Orleans. So it was just
and then
he went
Detroit.
To the wrong. Yeah.
So
and Detroit, exactly.
So,
yeah,
not a
so
great.
I'm going Reggie Bush is my number. I think that's a good number one. Hope I didn't take y'all's number one, but he's definitely one of mine.
Yeah, no, yeah. That is a good pick. I will say, underrated pick.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jake, you're on the clock, baby.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer for me, and I don't really think it needs explanation. If it does, go and watch a 30 for 30 call. You don't know Bo. It's going to be Bo Jackson. This is a cake pick. Pick.
That was too easy.
Greatest athlete of all time. Period. Yeah. You can't argue it. Baseball, all-star, football all-star. Tears his own hip out of socket for being too strong while he's getting tackled. Easy cake. Bo Jackson is my number one.
Wow. Just what a time to live in if you think about how we watch the game.
Good man, how are you?
We don't get the opportunity to have a guy play in the NFL and in the MLB at the same time. So being in that era to see that is just absolutely cool. Like him and Dion doing it, that's really cool. It would have been awesome to see, but great pick. Probably the layup number one for most of us, Jake. So nothing to argue there. My first pick, gonna be a little hometown biased here, but my number one pick is the great Josh Gordon. Ryan's face lit up. He knew I was going Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon versus marijuana.
Yeah, and it sucks because the dude led the league in receiving in a year where he was suspended for the first 2 games of the season, and then his quarterback was Brandon freaking Whedon. The dude who got trapped underneath the American flag was his quarterback, and he led the league in receiving. Not to mention he played in Cleveland. So you put all those together, and you're like, this guy could have written his own paycheck when it came time, and he just couldn't get out of his own way. Been a drug addict, been a drug dealer since the age of 15. He's got a lot of problems, and what could have been an all-time receiver, 6'4", 225, 4.3, 4.4 speed, can catch the ball with the hands, run routes, just tormented defenses with a guy that sucks at quarterback. So what could have been Josh Gordon?
That's a good one. That's a real good pick right there.
All right. So
Ryan, you get 2.
So my first pick, couldn't even tell you if he was supposed to have potential at this point because he was such a bum. But I'm gonna go Darko Milicic.
Yep.
Easy one. Surrounded in the top 5 of all Hall of Famers, and he's the one dude 6 points a game average for his career. Absolute bum. You hate to see it, but he went to Detroit. So what else can you expect?
Yeah.
And then my next pick, I'm gonna go to football, and I'm gonna take Aaron Hernandez.
Wow.
Now, you look at it
solid.
You look
Solid
at his
pick.
numbers, the dude was basically on par with Gronk when he was playing, just slightly behind him. And then he has obviously the legal issues. He ends up going to jail, and now he's no longer with us. But the man was an absolute unit on the field, and who knows what he
And
could
off the field.
and off.
Yeah, guy's a killer.
Yeah, think if his extracurricular activities did keep him
Contributed
distracted,
to his
those numbers
own-
would have been double Gronk.
Yeah.
Wow, good solid pick.
Yeah, that's two good picks. Darko going to anywhere else would be crazy. Like imagine if like Wade goes at 2, or Bosch was in there, Mello. Like you could really assuade the way that the league went, the way that draft went, which is crazy to think about. But my second pick, wrapping around here, going back to Jake here, number 2, Michael Vick. What if he never had the dogfighting issues? The dude was just catching bodies in the league. He was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson, and he was better than Lamar Jackson, and he had a stronger arm, and he knew how to throw the ball. Michael Vick missed his prime years for a good reason. I mean, I'm not going to defend what he did, but imagine if he didn't get involved with all that off the field stuff. We're talking about a guy that came back to Philly, and he was electric. I mean, Ryan knows that as a Philly fan. Like seeing Mike Vick line up at quarterback for those couple years. I mean, I know that Kevin Cobb was supposed to be the future. I think it just took another pick on somebody's board right there with that one. But seeing Vic in Philly, I mean, you always thought that Philly was a threat with Michael Vick at quarterback. So imagine him in his prime years that he was just in prison for.
Yeah, Vic, as a Falcon fan, I got to see him obviously young in the league, and he was just making plays up as he goes. Like the highlights are undoubtedly fantastic. And honestly, as a kid, when they had that Nike Michael Vick commercial where it was like the Vick experience, y'all remember that?
Yes, so cool.
Like you could like a roller coaster. That was so like no one's doing that. No one's doing that NFL at that time except him. Like he was phenomenal. Like phenomenal. Yeah, we did lose a couple of years of his, but like the resilience of him to come back into the league and have those years with the Philly, like that was
be
so
successful.
impressive.
Yeah, is huge.
Yeah. So, hell of a pick, dude. Good pick.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're gonna be circling back to Jake here. Jake's second pick. Who do you got, Jake?
All right, so I'm going to set the stage a little bit here because this guy's a little before our time, but he's massive. So imagine you're an NBA franchise and you have the number 2 overall pick. You select a guy that's a monster in college, right? You select him. The next day you get reports that he has overdosed on cocaine and died. We are talking about none other than Len Bias, selected by the Boston Celtics, number 2 overall. Not only is his magnitude that impactful, but it hurt the Celtics franchise as well because they not only that year did they go to the NBA Finals and lose, they continuously throughout the later part of the 80s were going and competing. But if Len Bias would not have died, what could have happened there in the 80s? We wouldn't have had to wait till 2008 to see another championship. So my number 2 pick is going to be Len Bias from the Maryland Terps, drafted by the Celtics, number 2 overall.
Wow. What
phenomenal.
What a pick.
Good pick. I honestly thought you were about to pick my next one, dude. I really did. I was like, oh. So that's a good one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my next one out of the way because I get the snake, right? So I get the double.
You got the double.
Yep. You got the double already. You got 2.
All right, here we go. Second pick for Back Porch Nader Tater's team of woulda, coulda, shouldas. We select All-American from Ohio State, NBA bust, Greg Oden. Greg Oden, ladies and gentlemen. That guy was so good in college at Ohio State. I picked him from your back porch, Scott. I'm sorry if he was on your list. He's mine now. He's on my team. Greg Oden looked like he was 78 years old, had a body of a 40-year-old, had the mind of a child, had 14 kids by the time he was in the league. I don't think he went to the wrong team. I don't think anything bad about that. It was just injuries.
Yeah.
He could never stay healthy. I believe it was his rookie year he got hurt, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah, yep.
He was
So,
just hurt from the start, I think.
From the jump, yeah. Like as soon as they got him, like he just started. I think when he went on stage to get his jersey, he tore his ACL on the stage. Yeah, they swept the knee on him. I think that maybe it could have been a colluded job with the whole league because they were afraid of him.
It's also very true. He was, the craziest thing about that woulda, coulda, shoulda is, like, what would have happened if they took Kevin Durant instead? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, where would Portland be?
Like, would Portland have Dame? Would Portland have Dame and KD there? Like, there's a legit chance because Dame wasn't a top 5 pick.
Honestly, I think the downfall of the city was the pick of Greg Oden.
Yeah,
we can only speculate.
Well, they had his injuries and they had Brandon Roy's injuries. Already, just took someone else's pick off the board. I got to stop doing.
And then just that negative. And then that negativity just kind of spiraled out to the streets. And now it's the home of just massive drug use and homelessness and all kinds of craziness. So maybe it did start in that draft.
Dame went number 6 overall in 2012. So he wasn't – I didn't realize that he went that high.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, the Cavs could have drafted him? We drafted Dion Bum Waiters over Damian Lillard? That's
Is that your
terrible.
honorable mention?
Dame.
That's terrible.
Wow. So we're moving on to the third round.
Yeah, start the third round. We're back to back.
So got third round starting now. I'm on the clock. Tater's back porch crew. Man, I'm loving my team right now. I got Reggie Bush and Greg Oden, just 2 studs in college. 2 duds in the NFL and the NBA. Going baseball, third pick. Third pick. Who is it, though? Which baseball player? I'm going to go with a dude who was on the Wheaties box, a guy who was an NL All-Star, went to the World Series, did everything he could for his team except have a terrible Achilles heel. And that is my man, Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard from the Phillies. Man was electric. Dude I think he was hitting a home run every 7 at bats at one time. Like when he was on fire. I can ask the Philly fan in the room, Ryan, about that. But dude was awesome to watch. He was a good ball player. But when he tore that Achilles, he never recovered ever again after that. It was never the same. And that team was loaded. That was the crazy part. That team was loaded, and he was a huge foundational piece of that team. So what could have been with that team, that dynasty they could have had. I'll kick it over to the Philly guy himself to tell me if it's a good pick or not. Third round, Ryan Howard. Let me know.
I would say it's solid. Yeah, after that, they won the series and then lost to the Yankees the next year. That injury kind of derailed him, and he quickly vanished into rarely being talked about. Even now, when you watch Phillies games and they bring back former players, it's like, oh, Ryan Howard's here, cool. Yeah, where it's like it was Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins. It's like a parade is getting down the street next to the stadium.
It's crazy because during those couple years, because as a Braves fan, I hated Brian Howard, and those were the years that the Braves and the Phillies would go back, battle for the East, and he was so good. I respected his game, but he's just one of those greats that could have been greater, but he was taken from us because of an injury.
Yeah, listen to this. From 2006 to 2011, he was a top 10 MVP finisher each of those years. Won it in 06. That was the 58 home run year. But over 200 of his 382 home runs came within a 4-year span of 06, 07, 08, and 2009. Then another 80 of them were in 2009 and 2010. So we're talking 380 of his 480 home runs in a 6-year span. And he just fell off the cliff after he got hurt in 2012 through 2016. He led the league he did lead the league in strikeouts in 2014 with 190 strikeouts. So, I mean, not something to be proud of, but a stat worthy
at least he tried.
At least he went down swinging.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That thank you for those stats. Definitely backs up why he is on my team at number 3.
It was on the cover of MLB The Show.
On cover of MLB The Show, there's a lot of MLB guys, but him, from the magnitude and how fast he got to 300 home runs, was impressive for sure. So that is my pick. I give the clock over to Jake now.
Jake, 3rd round pick.
Man, y'all are making this really easy for me to win this. At least pulling on the fans' heartstrings here. My 3rd pick. Oh, you're saying why before I even make my pick? Wow, how un-American of you! Because my 3rd pick is Pat Tillman. Yeah, what happens if Pat Tillman doesn't join the Army? Yeah, spent
my 4th pick.
Yeah, I spent 4 years in the league.
God dang it!
is a Hall of Famer in the NFL. Was a great football player. Was a great DB. And Pat Tillman is going to be my 3rd overall pick because why not?
He's a sleeper.
Yeah, well, he's sleeping on my team now, hanging out. So, yeah, my 3rd pick's Pat Tillman, left the NFL after 4 years ago, served overseas and was killed in action, is part of the 2010 NFL Hall of Fame class as well. So that's going to be my 3rd pick because what could have been if the events, unfortunately, on 9/11 don't happen, does Pat Tillman stay in the league and just dominate? So that's going to be my number 3 overall pick.
Very American of you.
Solid pick, Jake. Good job.
Love Great patriotism pick. A lot. Love the troops.
Good pick.
I would say Bob Feller did the same thing, but he came back from World War II and then just decided to win 19 games again. So that would have been that's also a cool redemption story. That could have happened with Pat Tillman. He could have served and then came back and then absolutely dominated the league for sure. It definitely would have happened.
Yeah.
That patriotism would have carried.
I believe he was on the verge. Pat Tillman was on the verge of a big contract year. Yeah, when he did decide. So, Pat Tillman, rest in peace. Your legacy lives on. We love you. But yeah, that is what could have been a
great pick.
Player.
Great pick. I'm going to go to baseball. I've stayed in the NFL for my first 2 picks. But for pick number 3, I'm going to go with someone that I thought was probably one of the most gifted pitchers of the game watching coming up, and was so young and was taken before we saw the full potential. Jose Fernandez. So just the guy had electric stuff, his fastball, slider, curve, changeup. It was a privilege to watch him every 5 days. I know Marlins fans looked forward to it every single day. I looked forward to tuning in to the Florida broadcast on local television. You'd be able to watch Jose Fernandez. And it was just, he was so good. I'd pop on my iPad to watch MLB TV. And then if Jose was pitching, I would turn on the cable box and I'd watch Jose Fernandez pitch. And, another one, rest in peace. We'll never really know the full story of why he decided to go out on a speedboat with, I believe it was a soccer player in Miami during a storm.
I believe he was out there. He was doing cocaine.
Yeah, they were doing cocaine.
They said it, and they decided to continue to stay out instead of going in.
Yeah, there's a theory out there. that I won't get onto on air. We can offline about it, but
It's a very Miami way to go out.
There's a big theory about why he was out there and doing that stuff a night before a game. But Jose Fernandez is my pick.
It's a good pick. Good solid
I like
pick.
it.
Yep, it's a good one.
All right.
All right,
Ryan,
Ryan.
you got 2, Ryan.
All right, to wrap up my team, 3rd round pick. It's a little later than this man is normally used to hearing his name called. But man often referred to as the next future GOAT, and it just didn't quite pan out and ended up leaving the game early. And that is Stanford great Andrew Luck.
Ooh, good one.
Constantly
Good
pegged
one.
from his high school days as the next guy, the next Peyton, the next Brady, and it looked like he was going to be it. And then all of a sudden, 2019 comes and he goes, I'm done. I'm stepping away. This isn't for me anymore. And Colts still haven't recovered from it. That team is in shambles since he's left, and what that team could have been with him there, and what pieces they have now.
Yeah,
one of the best offensive lines in the league after Andrew Luck retired because of shoulder surgery. I still think it was more of the operation and the recovery, because I know for a fact that Andrew Luck is a guy that did not take his rehab lightly. I just think that there was a bad surgery. It happens every so often, but it really does suck that it happened to him because, man, he was a wizard. He could throw the ball. He saw everything happen before, and he was low-key athletic. Like, he moved around a little bit.
You watch all these high school recruiting now, and everyone's like comparing people to Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
It's no longer the Peytons in the world. It's I'm comparing him to Andrew Luck. He was that 5-star everyone gets compared to now.
Yep.
Yeah. He was like a hybrid between like Tebow and like a good quarterback. like
Tebow
he had the body.
Peyton.
Tebow meets Peyton. Like he had the body to sustain a career in the league, athletic enough to move around in the pocket, take the hits, take the blows, but he could throw like exceptionally well, and he was smarter than anybody on the field. Yeah, and so he just a humble kid. He made the right decision, obviously. But yeah, a good pick, man. I definitely didn't even think about Andrew Luck when I was thinking about lists and stuff.
And then my last pick to get away from the core 4 sports, and I don't think it'll get me much voting, but I just want to shout it out anyways because I think it's funny. But I'm going to go with the man considered the 2nd greatest swimmer of all time, and that's Ryan Lochte behind Michael Phelps. Man had 7 individual gold medals, 2nd all time only to Michael Phelps, and the guy unfortunately was just born in an era with the GOAT, so there wasn't much he can do about it. But then his life kept spiraling. He went to Rio. He pretended that he got robbed. He ended up getting almost a full year suspension from swimming for all of his shenanigans and all that, and he just kind of spiraled after that. But who knows if he was born in an era without Phelps, what could have happened with him? And we might be talking about him as if he was Michael Phelps.
That's true. That's awesome. Good thinking outside the box on that one. That's a solid round 4 right there.
That's my core 4 right there. My Fab 4.
Your core 4. All right.
That's
your Fab 4.
Ryan. Jeez,
so Ryan locking up his 4. Ryan, your number 1 was
Darko Milicic, Aaron Hernandez, Andrew Luck, Ryan Lochte.
Good.
Solid.
Good
That's
list.
Good 4. It's a good Fab 4.
Prepared, boys. I was ready to win this one.
I knew you were. All right. Is it whose turn? Jake? It's Scott's turn.
Scott.
Yeah, it's my turn, and I'm debating on something right here because there's 2 homer picks, and then there's another one. Jeez. I'm gonna go. I don't know. I know Jake won't have an opinion on this, I think. Nate might have one as well. And Ryan and I are like the same, so the memory, like age-wise, the memory is there. Screw it. I'm going with Kerry Wood.
Ooh.
That was another solid one.
He was so dominant, and he had the injuries and he had to move to the bullpen because he was a starter, and he threw the ball. He was 6'5", 210, and he just threw like darts. And 98 rookie year, 13-6, 3.4 ERA, number one rookie of the year. And then he got hurt in 99, and he kind of just like he was just average after that. He ended up like having a couple good years. 2003, struck out 266. His win-loss record. Where's his win-loss record? He just 86 and 75, just not what he wanted to do. And then he just like 2008, he revives himself in the bullpen, saves 34 games. Then he went to Cleveland and he saved 20 games in a year. And it's like the guy had. I kind of feel like it was like a DeGrom situation. It kind of like looks to be the same. Career path is like DeGrom, but DeGrom's been hurt multiple times now. But the guy just threw 100 and was so dominant. He's got the 20 strikeout game. Like, I'm putting him on the list.
I like it.
I was debating between him and Grady Sizemore as the fourth. So
I would carry over Grady for sure. Yeah. Carey definitely. I was talking with Matt, the guy who's on the losers corner, and he mentioned Kerry Wood today too.
Yeah.
Kerry Wood. He had one of the fastest rise of ascension as a thrower in that era, and the power as a power arm and everything like that. And then he did revival. He did come back after some injuries and did have a few good years with the Cubs. So, but what could have been if he would have just stayed healthy for sure. Easily Cy Young, multiple Cy Youngs. Everyone remembers that 20K game.
But it wasn't even.
I wouldn't want to face them.
That balls that weren't even close.
Yeah, they're just so bad. It was watching the highlights of that game is really cool.
Yeah.
And then just going to the bullpen and actually becoming a closer.
Yeah.
Was even smarter on his part to prolong his career even more. So, potential Hall of Famer, doesn't get hurt, but he's definitely a Cubs legend. Cubs people will never.
Oh yeah, they love him.
Don't they love him? So that's solid, dude. Very solid. Kudos to you on that one for sure.
Thank you.
All right, Jake.
So I have two, and I'm trying to decide.
Scott, sorry.
No,
Scott, recap your four. Sorry. Recap your four before we move on to Jake.
Yeah. Josh Gordon, Michael Vick, Jose Fernandez, Kerry Wood.
Very strong.
Solid. Very solid.
We got two an injury guy.
Left.
Well, death is not an injury, but when you got a guy that got hurt, you got a guy that was convicted of a felony. You got a guy that OD'd on coke and a guy that smoked a lot of weed. So two drug guys, a dogfighting guy, and a guy that's injured. That's a little bit of variety.
That's a variety, yeah. This is a variety show.
Yeah. Sorry, Jake. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Jake. You're good. I had two guys. I'm not going to obviously say their names before I tell you who I'm going to pick. I was trying to decide between the GOAT or the fantasy god. And so I think I'm going to go fantasy god because the GOAT would create a whole lot of controversy.
I would have backed.
Yeah, I know you would have, Ryan, because I appreciate you. Scott would have rioted in here. But so this guy actually had a very successful career. He was a fantasy god. I mean, like everybody wants this guy on his fantasy team, especially if they're playing PPR, right? I mean, he is just an absolute stud. And it is none other than Megatron Calvin Johnson. What happens if this man continues to play and doesn't retire early? I mean, we've had how many rumors over, of course, not recently, but after he retired, is he going to come out of retirement and go play with, Brady or somebody? No, they have to release him, have to trade him, all this stuff. So my pick is Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest wide receivers that we have actually seen in our generation. One of the greatest catches I've seen in my entire life was when he was at Georgia Tech and he's running down the field and the pass is thrown behind him. He goes literally horizontal to catch it behind him. I mean, the dude literally was a walking catch factory. Anything near him, he's catching. I mean, greatest. and just decided he's like, I'm just going to hang up the cleats. I'm done with this. So my fourth and final pick is going to be Calvin Megatron Johnson.
Isn't it crazy that like one of the greatest receivers came from Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
The wing offense.
And his quarterback was Reggie Ball.
Yep. Ball. Yep.
Number 2 overall. Crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Like, the sports science on Calvin Johnson, when they did the sports science on him, on how big of his wingspan is and how much he can cover just by standing still and jumping left to right. He can cover a 2-car garage by standing in the middle.
That's absurd.
That's why him and Matt Stafford was the easiest touchdown ever.
Yep.
And inside the red zone. Like, it's insane.
Jake, let us know who your other pick was after Nate picks. Who do honorable mentions?
I will say this: I just watched a highlight of Calvin because he was going to be on my list too, but I was like, it's too easy. But you got him in the 4th round, so that's really good. That's a number 1 first-round pick.
That's a steal.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
The game he beat the Cowboys. He had 14 catches, 365 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Can you just repeat that for all our Cowboy fans listeners?
All of our Cowboy fans, our friends out in the world. He had 14 catches.
Oh, and there he goes. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's looking it up on his phone probably.
There you go. 14 catches, 360-ish yards of receiving, and 4 touchdowns. And that was all before the 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
You hate to see it. You really do.
I believe it was 80-something fantasy points that one day for him. And he wasn't just catching and running and falling down. He was outrunning their entire team on slant routes. It was incredible to watch. I encourage you, if you're listening on the pod or on the YouTube page, just go watch that game. It was phenomenal.
Love it.
It was an awesome game for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Honorable mentions?
No, Nate's still
I haven't gone yet.
No, Nate's got his.
Oh, no, he's not going. Yeah, that's right.
I was just building his pick.
I forgot
up.
Jake. Yeah, Jake took Calvin Johnson.
Wrap it up, Nate.
Mine. I'm staying in America's pastime. I'm staying with baseball. We all have seen this man on the grandest stage. He had the smoothest swing, one of the best athletes I've ever seen play. He was a dominant lefty, power for days, just a 5-tool player. Unfortunately, he loves booger sugar, and that really set him down the path early on in his career. But he got redemption, and he got redemption with my Rangers, and I'm talking about Josh Hamilton.
I thought you were you set yourself up for a Ken Griffey Jr.
That's exactly where I thought you were going with that.
He said booger sugar, and I was got on Google, is Ken Griffey Jr. addicted to cocaine? Trying to find a Reddit thread over here.
That's what I got.
I will say with my Grady Sizemore pick, he actually was facing off against Josh Hamilton in that home run derby at Yankee Stadium that year. And so not only does Josh Hamilton take that memory away from me for my favorite baseball player of all time in the home run derby, but he just embodied it with just one of the greatest home run derby performances ever. So shout out to Josh Hamilton for that.
That was his story of him, the redemption of him getting to that point, and then having that grand stage in the home run derby.
Yep.
At Yankee Stadium, and the Yankee fans are cheering his name. He had 30-something home runs in the second round.
Yeah.
It was electrifying. I had goosebumps, chills as a Ranger fan. Almost cried a little bit. It was just beautiful. Mm-hmm. But watching him be the founding piece, him, Ian Kinsler, and Michael Young, of those ball clubs when they went to the World Series, he was so good at baseball. And what to think about his young career if he didn't get addicted to cocaine
Yeah.
and drugs early on with Tampa, but he battled back. The Rangers got him in the Title 5 or whatever draft
Yeah, Rule
or
5.
whatever from the
Title
Rule
5.
5 draft,
Yeah, Rule
whatever
5.
it was, Rule 5 draft from the Reds, and
Yeah.
he gave us his best years, I believe, and he was a phenomenal ball player. And I'll never see a person ever hit home runs in BP like he did with effort, with no effort. I went to a Rays game once and watched him hit BP, and his swing was just like it looked like I was just hitting like if I used a Fisher Price bat and was hitting wiffle balls like line drives. He was doing
Mhm.
that with baseballs,
Yep.
like line drive off the hitter's eye and 400 dead center.
Yep.
Like it was nothing, no sweat. It was nothing. I was like this easily could hit a 500 because he's just so strong.
Yep.
So it's
You have
like
massive, you have massive
I wish him
forearms.
the best in life. Massive body, massive forearms.
Matt Holliday, him and
So
Matt
I mean,
Holliday battled for the
oh my god,
largest forearms.
yeah, for real, dude.
All right, let's go some rapid fire honorable mentions. No explaining needed, but just like 2 or 3 guys. Ryan, are you ready? Because I got a couple. We can go over.
I'm ready whenever y'all are.
Yeah, fire away,
Yeah,
Jay. Give me a couple rapid fires.
My goat that I was talking about. What if Jordan doesn't retire or forced to retire in '93? Does he win a couple more? One of the other ones, Ryan's going to know this more than you guys. What if Diego Maradona's hand of God actually gets called and he doesn't score off a handball in the quarterfinals against England, where they won 2-1? And then my other one is, what if Larry Bird wasn't such a nice guy and hurts his back shoveling gravel for his mom in her driveway? Because that kind of derailed his career a little bit. So those are my 3. Like I said, I had about 15, but Scott, I think you picked 1 or 2, and then I think Ryan picked one of mine in my list of 15. So I had one more was what if Sean Taylor doesn't get murdered? That was another one.
That's a great one.
That's
another one.
It's a good one.
Electric. I have a couple ones, not as crazy. Jacob deGrom, if he doesn't get hurt all the time, how good can he be? Grady Sizemore was on my list because he was electric, 50 doubles, 30 home run guy, Gold Glove winner for 3 years in a row, just incredible in the outfield. Kevin White, I don't know why I thought about him. Like I thought Kevin White was going to be awesome. Brian Bosworth. What if the Brian Bosworth story? And then obviously, what if Tim Couch wasn't drafted to the expansion team Browns, who refused to get an offensive line? He led them to the playoffs in 2002, but they didn't protect him the first 3 years of his career, and the dude was just so hurt. And like you saw, he took him to the playoffs once. What if he didn't? What if he was protected the first two years of his career? So.
Absolutely.
Those are my rapid
Those are good,
fires.
Ryan. Those are solid. Yeah, rapid fire. Yeah.
I got 3 quick rapid fire ones. First, Josh Rosen. What if he actually cared about football and actually put some effort in? Go to the MMA world, John Jones. What if the man wasn't a psychopath and actually dedicated his time to MMA? He's already considered the GOAT, but it wouldn't even be a question. And my last one, down to the soccer realm again for Jake here. Neymar. What if Neymar wasn't following Messi's coattails everywhere and basically trying to repeat his career?
That's awesome. Those are good stuff.
Hey, Nate, real quick before you hop on, I'm going to bounce. Sure. I got to go grab dinner with the fam, but it's good to see you guys. Good to talk to y'all. Later.
Bye, bud. Thanks, man.
Great Fab 4.
Great 4. I think he won.
It was really what I think.
My honorable mention, King Griffey Jr. What happens if he doesn't get hurt? He's on pace. He's on pace to break the record naturally over anybody for sure. What happens if Dale Earnhardt doesn't hit the wall?
Like that.
He was already the best, one of the best. He was taken from us. He still could have drove for a couple more years. But his death did change the safety of the sport. So like there's certain things that, that happen that there's better things for it. Um, Tiger Woods. How great could he have been? He already was great. He already was amazing. Mount Rushmore, top golfer, one of the top golfers ever to play. What happens if he never got hurt? What happens if he doesn't like white women? I don't know. We'll figure it out.
These are the
But
questions.
Different lifetime.
like he injured his body and he injured his soul. Right? So Tiger Woods, definitely an honorable mention. Oh man, it's just I mean, what if John Daly doesn't like alcohol in Hooters? Like would
Also
he
a great
be
question.
like there's so many I can go to golf, the realm of golf, just stay in golf.
Days.
Oh man, what if what if Pete Rose didn't gamble?
Probably wouldn't have got all those hits.
Exactly.
Pete Rose Hall of Fame.
Pete Rose Hall of Fame. What if Lou Gehrig didn't have Lou Gehrig disease?
It wouldn't
He
be
was
named
already
Lou
great.
Gehrig's disease.
It wouldn't be after him, but like he's just one of those things. Gosh,
How many games in a row could he have played?
exactly.
Would we even talk about Cal Ripken Jr.?
Exactly. We can't make an excuse for Cal. Will never be on this list because he powered through everything. What if I mentioned I had Reggie Bush? I had this. I mean, what if Barry Sanders didn't call it quits early on in his career? I mean, he was already amazing as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
What if Ray Rice took a different elevator?
Well, he sucked anyways. He averaged like 2.9 yards a carry. I don't buy the Ray Rice situation.
That's your Brown.
I think if Ray Rice was Jim Brown, that he would have gotten another chance to play. But they looked at the analytics and was like, wow, he's short, he's fat, he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's a cancer to our locker room, and he averages 2.9 yards a carry. We do not need this baggage on our team.
Yeah.
So that's my Ray Rice take.
That's a good one. This one's for Matt Lida with the Losers Club or the Losers Corner. What if Emmitt Smith went to the Dolphins with Marino?
I would have been
because he said he wanted to, and Coach Shula said, "No, I don't want you on my team."
What if Jim Brown didn't retire early?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many what ifs. Honorable mention. There's some good ones. Man, there's some good ones. Last one for me, I will go with what if Jameis Winston never stole crab legs from Publix? He might be the greatest of all time quarterback. He might back-to-back champion. Maybe he could be starting right now.
So good.
Some people are saying.
But
some people are saying he should be starting right now, not in New Orleans.
He should be. I don't.
He last year.
I think the butter on the crab legs really ruined his grip on life.
Well, I think you just need to get the LASIK before like 2 years ago.
Yeah, because he's always squinting.
Yeah, he's always been.
Yeah. Oh man!
Wow, we just did. We did 50 minutes phenomenal. Of that.
50 minutes of Fab Four. What it woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Little bonus
variety pack
out there for the
was
poll.
Good. For people's catching this on, like they kind of skipped through the pod or whatever. My top 4 was Reggie Bush, first pick. Reggie Bush, second pick. Greg Oden, third pick. Where's my third pick? Third pick. Who was it?
Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard, which that was a good one. Third round. And fourth pick, Josh Hamilton. So, Ryan, who are your 4 picks?
I went first round, Darko Milicic. Second round, Aaron Hernandez. Third round, Andrew Luck. And fourth round, the swimmer, Ryan Lochte.
Yeah. And then I went Josh Gordon, Michael Vick, Jose Fernandez, and Kerry Wood.
Solid.
And Jake.
Jake murdered us.
Len Bias, Pat Tillman, Calvin Johnson.
Yes. So if you're listening, we'll have a poll at the end. Please vote. on who you think had the best Fab Four selection, I'm gonna go give my vote to Jake. With Megatron at number 4 on the 4th round.
Yeah,
He got Bo Jackson as the easy
Jake
pick
was
first
ready.
round, and then the Pat Tillman throw in.
Yeah, the American throw-in is just
Yeah.
Playing the sympathy card. I can't give him my vote for that.
yeah.
So he
Yeah,
gets
he just
gets
tried to
my
go for
vote.
our hearts there. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
pulling on heartstrings there.
Yeah.
Yep,
In
absolutely.
the title, I got us doing a little golf and a little soccer talk. You want to do like 2 minutes of that? Wrap it up real quick with that.
Let's do it.
So Ryan, you're the soccer head. You're the we know ball, you know bull.
Yeah, we do.
So, is the United States good again? Like, what's the difference? Like, why are we winning? Why do you can we compete for this World Cup coming up?
Listen, the future's looking
Tell
bright.
me like I'm 4.
Future looks bright. Mexico looks like crap for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's good, but they're not great. So we are definitely at this point the big dogs of CONCACAF, which is North and Central America. It should be ours to kind of run for the next foreseeable future.
Is that our pool? Do we not?
Yeah.
Do we
Is that
don't
our,
know?
what is that?
So it's like the same pool every time.
Yep. So it's broken down by regions of the world. So
Okay.
really, the contenders for our regions are obviously the 3 North American countries: us, Canada, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get occasionally your Panama and Honduras and Costa Rica will kind of factor in there, but it's usually one of us North American countries. But yeah, future's looking bright. Bringing back the old coach Berhalter, interesting to see. Kind of more of a reserve
for continuity.
Yeah, it'll be good for continuity. He plays a little more like reserved and defensive. This weekend they got to play a little more offensive, and it was really fluid. The style looked really crisp and kind of looked like the leash was taken off the dogs a little bit, and they looked like they were ready to get out there and score a lot of goals, which with their new striker.
You're going to shoot more.
They
more
do.
shots equals more opportunities to score. More opportunities to score means you score more.
And we just stole our striker over from England. We got a English-American striker now, so we already got a guy that kind of knows what he's doing with the Bulls.
So we got him and then Pulisic.
Pulisic's on the left.
Yeah.
And then we got a really young.
He was kind of playing out of position, right?
A little bit. The thing with the U.S. team right now is not a lot of them are playing with their club teams, but they play really well for the country. So a lot of them this summer are going to be looking for moves to kind of get them more consistent minutes so they can kind of repeat the success you saw this weekend on a day-to-day basis.
Ooh, we're coming. We're coming for the cup.
We're coming.
We're coming, baby. I'm not going to be bold enough to say we're going to compete to win, but I think from a U.S. standard, we can compete to do as well as we ever have.
Yes.
I mean, we technically already in.
We're already in.
Because we're hosting.
We got to get past the round of 16. We got to get to the quarters.
We can do it.
The semis. The goals.
If we get past round of 16, I might take off work for a week.
Don't let America get hot.
The goal is
don't let us get hot. Last time we got hot. Last time we got hot against the world, you know what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Back to back, baby. We're looking for a 3-peat.
Back. There we go.
Oh, 3-peat.
And
cool. I can't say some rules might be bent. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know. We got home field advantage. We got the cold hard cash. And if we can pay those refs, stuff's getting kind of expensive here in America. We can pay off some refs.
We can pay off some debt.
Some of that live money. Take some of that live
field advantage. Scott, why don't you kind of move us into our next segment, the U.S. Open?
The U.S. Open. The only thing that I have really is that I feel really bad for Rory. I thought he had a chance. I was rooting for Rory. It's been so.
He looks solid.
He looked good, but he still can't make a putt when it matters. He was, and the greens were kind of a little bit trickier as the rounds went on through Saturday and Sunday. I thought he putted very well, but he needed to sink another birdie, and he just couldn't. He just couldn't do it. So that really sucked. However, the last major that Rory won, they're playing at that course next month.
Oh, for the Open.
For I forget what
the Players, isn't it?
It's the Open.
Because we've had the Masters.
Yeah.
We just did the Open.
No, that was
the U.S. Open. British Open is what it was.
The British
Yeah.
Open's July. Oh,
Yeah.
Rory, what is it? St. Andrews course, the old course.
I think Andrews was last year.
Yeah, it's I heard it on the radio today.
Hold on.
Yeah. Is it the Scottish one?
Probably because he's really good at those.
He's really good at that one.
The man can just hit the ball so far. And Wyndham Clark, like, good for him. It was great.
Yeah, good
like
story.
He's seeing emotion. Hard to root against a guy like that.
All guys
really
guys in the top 10. They all got money. They got money in the bag. All of them. Good for y'all.
Listen, nothing wrong with watching an American win the U.S. Open.
No, it's nice. It's nice to see it.
No, it's very cool. But like the guy like Rory, he was so outspoken about like PGA versus Live, like very anti-Live Tour guy, like very, loyal to the PGA Tour. So you kind of want to see that guy win.
Absolutely.
So hopefully he can get one. Sprinkle in some little pizza money on Rory to win one of these coming up
these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's next coming up to expect for the club, guys? What's coming up next for us?
We got NBA drafts coming up.
NBA draft next week, so we can recap the draft next week. I am out of town. Well, no, it's this week. It's Thursday.
Is it?
Yeah, the draft is Thursday, like as in when this airs tomorrow. So
so we got it Thursday. We have
we're heading.
What else? College World Series recap. I mean, it's been a
dude,
phenomenal
LSU,
College World Series.
Did you see the number of yellow shots? The guy Raising Cane's owner bought 6,000 Jello shots. The record's broken. LSU fans are different in Omaha. $5 Jello shots. They're over 25,000 now. I think they were at like 22,000 yesterday. It's crazy. Like they're just killing it there.
The real winner's the bar.
Yeah. The owner of that bar is the huge winner. The dude who pitches for LSU, the guy that's going to be like the number 1 or number 2 overall pick.
Skeen.
Yeah, he's nasty. He's healthy.
His stuff is dirty. His
he throws so hard. It's effortless.
Yeah. Tennessee gets LSU tonight, an elimination game. I'm just proud my boys made it to Omaha this year and actually won a game in Omaha. So Tony Vitello is continuing to build that program as a dynasty. He'll get one of these championships one of these days, but he's recruiting at a high level. He's putting guys in the pros at a high level. So shout out to my Vols. Hopefully they can win tonight. If not, it's okay. If they still made it to postseason, which is what you want anyway as a baseball fan.
Yeah. Speaking of the Vols, we got some football to be previewing here soon. So episodes in the upcoming weeks. I think within the next week we will start breaking down our conferences. We'll probably start with SEC and then Big Ten, and then probably go down the line from there. Start with the top dogs in the SEC. So probably
we'll preview the teams. Yep, we'll preview the teams. We've already, if you're listening to this on the pod or on our YouTube page, we've already put out some over-unders, kind of just graphics, what we think on a couple divisions, but not all yet. We're just kind of slow playing that. Our sleepers are out there, been out there since May. It's been a long off season. But,
Colorado under thing.
Colorado, take the under all day long, or take the under all day long for Colorado. Don't bite the hype.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be coming in July. It's talking season, baby.
Yep.
And we're gonna be talking NFL. Finish up middle of the year of Major League Baseball. All-Star games coming up as well. Home Run Derby's coming up. Can we talk about the Reds? 9 games in a row. First place.
They're insane. They're electric. Joey Votto's back.
Joey's back. Like
Yep.
Joey Bats is back.
Yep.
It's crazy, man. I love it. I love it. We can talk more baseball coming up next week, as the NBA's done with their thing. We got the All-Star game coming up, home run derby, futures on home run derbies or bets on home run derby, All-Star game, all kinds of greatness. But stay tuned, guys. Continue to follow, share, and like. We can't do this without y'all. We're having fun doing it, and as we continue growing it out, we're not even a year old yet. We're still baby, just crawling in this thing. But we love doing what we do, and we'll continue to give you guys the best content in the world. Honestly, it's the best information you're gonna get out there. You're not gonna get this stuff from anybody else. We know a little bit about football, a little bit about soccer or football and baseball and all the sports, all the ball,
a little bit.
all the ball, and we're still a great place to get your mediocre betting lines for football and future pets and props.
We're going over 60% for me this year. Over 60%.
Scott's goal's over 60%. I'm just gonna try to make 50. Jake's the RPI killer, the FBI killer. He's gonna continue to do what he does. And Ryan's our newcomer, so Ryan's got to get his rookie numbers in.
Ryan's just gonna beat Nate.
It's just beat Nate. That's fine.
I have my record from last year. It was 74-50 against the spread. So what's
Oh,
that?
that's good.
74-50.
I don't have a calculator.
124. You are looking
56%.
at 59.
That's electric. 59. We'll do that. Let's round up 60.
Yeah.
60%.
60%.
That's electric.
There you
Electric, Scott. Yeah. And we'll keep doing this for your enjoyment. Love you guys. Continue to like, follow, and share. Boys, have a great week. I will talk to y'all later.
All right.
If
Get
you
a
liked,
graphic up on the
Peace
Fab
out.
4 too.
yeah, if you
Peace
liked
out,
it,
y'all.
vote Ryan. If you didn't, vote Scott.
Yes, your vote. Vote.
Vote. Dude, it's your civil American duty. Go vote.
Yes, it's your right.